Well, good morning from Crossroads, Corona, California. It's a little foggy today. It's Mother's Day 2026, and it was bright and sunny in Elsinore, and it's foggy a little bit here in Corona. But there was a bright spot yesterday in the world of Supercross where Ken Roczen won for the first time in his career the 450 Premier Class Championship. So congratulations to Ken and his family. And there was also a bright spot in history during the baptism of Jesus. And that's what I want to share with you this morning. In the first 11 verses of the book of Mark, chapter 1, takes you about 2 minutes to read those. John the Baptist was preaching for about 6 months and baptizing for the repentance and the confession of sin for the cleansing of the heart. You'll see that in verse 4. Mark 1, verse 4. Well, then why would Jesus need to be baptized? He was perfect. He was sinless. If you go to Matthew chapter 3 and read that, it'll give you another account. Takes less than 3 minutes. And you'll see there in verse 15 that it says, Jesus was baptized to fulfill all righteousness. That's his answer. So you see, Jesus had complete obedience to the will of his Father in heaven. Christ's baptism identifies with sinners, just as he would go on to identify with sinners on the cross. Jesus is saying, John, let me be baptized. I have undertaken a solemn resolution to bear sin and the guilt of sinners for whom I will die. That's the answer. And Jesus set the example. Our baptism symbolizes his death, burial, and resurrection. When you go under the water, that's his death and burial, and when you come back up, that's his resurrection. And we're publicly declaring that that's what Jesus did for us in the ordinance of baptism. The other of the top two main ordinances in the church are the baptism and the communion. And in the last 7 verses of Mark chapter 11, it reads there, and they came to Jerusalem, and as he was walking in the temple, there came to him chief priests and scribes and elders, and they said, "By what authority do you do these things?" And Jesus answered and said to them, "I will also ask you a question, and you answer me. Then I will tell you by what authority I do these things." Verse 30, the baptism of John, was it from heaven or was it from men? Answer me. And they were working that out among themselves, and then they said, "We don't know." And in the last verse, Jesus said, "Then neither do I tell you by what authority I do these things." The baptism of Jesus, you can read about it, learn about it in under 15 minutes. Read it for yourself. You will be blessed.
Down by Jordan's flowing river, John was calling loud and clear, "Turn your hearts and seek forgiveness, for the kingdom now is near." Then came Jesus with a calm stride. John said, "Lord, I'm not so worthy." But Christ said, "Let it be this time." Jesus, spotless and true, step so